Welcome to episode 99. 99, what a great number. Episode 99 of The Glow. Welcome, Jane. When you enter, please share where you're from today, where you are today. We had this great event last night that I organized and co-hosted called Beyond Words. And the concept is that it's a place to be that's nonverbal. So you can, and it's unstructured and unfacilitated. So you can be whatever you are, however you are, whoever you are, without the need to share your story or your ideas or your beliefs, your concepts, your ideology. Welcome, Beat. And it's really beautiful. It was multi-generational, including a baby who was very natural at it. Kind of was the teacher in many ways, and lots of things transpired, toning, nonverbal singing, dancing, yoga, meditation, drawing, painting, art. This is all just evolving organically, unfacilitated, unstructured. And it was really powerful to observe when somebody relaxes without the need to be anything other than what they are, the transformation that occurs. Last month someone came into the room and sat down and immediately started crying, in a way of releasing. Someone else yesterday had told me that they were able to breathe, for the first time in a while, just being in the space. And there's something really healing and transformative about a space where you can be yourself, where you're free to be exactly who you are, as you are, and to rest in the authenticity of who and what you are, as you are. And even things like meditation, like yoga, like retreats, like workshops, classes, sessions, there can be this inherent implication that there's something wrong with you. That there's something wrong with you as you are, and it needs to be fixed. Reinforcing the belief system that there's something wrong with you as you are, and it needs to be fixed. And so you're perpetuating the same game. You're stuck in the same game. You're stuck in the illusion of self-judgment, blame, guilt, low self-esteem, low self-worth. And these spaces actually end up reinforcing that. They reinforce the basic premise. They make some promise to get you out of it, or help you to give you the strategy, the formula to move away from it, to get out of it, but they reinforce the basic premise, they further embed the basic premise of low self-worth, low self-esteem, self-blame, self-judgment, guilt, shame. Shame is huge. Something being wrong with you. So the real healing and transformation happens Hey Marita, thank you for being here. When we find ourselves in a place welcome Karen. Where we're able to be exactly as we are. That's where the real healing and transformation happens. When we find ourselves where we're in a place where we're able to be exactly as we are, then, as someone said last night, that's when we're able to breathe. You know? You don't even have to do Facebook Live videos standing up anymore, sitting up. You can just do them laying down once this realization comes in. It's just like, hey everybody, we can do whole retreats laying down if we want. But the point is not about laying down or standing up or sitting. The point is there's a relaxation within. There's a relaxing into this moment within. Speaking of relaxing, I need to make a little adjustment here. Bear with me for a moment. I think this is going to be helpful. Yeah, there we go. So, it's such a paradox, you know, because when you recognize and realize through resting into this grounded being that there's actually nothing wrong with you, and there never has been, you transform. You transform. There's a release that happens. There's a letting go that happens of all that's been pent up, of all that's been held on to, of all that's been resisted, of all that's been contracted. And the amazing thing is, it doesn't happen from any effort. It doesn't happen from any formula, any strategy. It happens from being, through being present with what is, with the authenticity of the moment. And when we can be in this space with a group of people and create this unified resonant field together, something occurs. It's like an alchemy, you know. It's like an alchemization. It's like synchronization, and there's this magic and miracle, magic and miraculousness that comes into being. You know, that's ever present, but now we're aware of it, and because we're aware of it, we're able to dance in it together. And that's the magic of these gatherings. You know, that's the magic of these retreats. That's the magic of this space. That's the magic of what happened last night. What happened last night was amazing, and it was amazing because nobody tried to make it amazing. There was no effort for amazingness. There was no expectation. There's an openness and a shared presence together. Well, if more of the world needs to see me, you can share the video right now. That would help more of the world to see me. Yeah, it's a message that the world could definitely use. for sure. You know, and it's such a simple message. There's nothing required. There's nothing necessary. There's no particular ideology, there's no particular belief system, there's no particular story. Does it really help you to feel closer to someone, to know about them? That's a fascinating question. Do you really feel closer to someone through knowing about them? Or do you feel closer to someone through continually unknowing them? Through resting in the magic of this moment together? I would say the latter. And it's interesting the way that we know ourselves, the way that we come to know ourselves, and the conclusions we come to draw about ourselves, the conclusions we come to draw about other people. Talking in a session today about punishment. The world really needs to hear this. The punishment is the most ridiculous waste of energy that there is. Like, what is the point of it? And the person we punish the most is ourselves. We punish ourselves all the time. We're always punishing ourselves. You know, we get in a space of low self-worth, low self-esteem, guilt, shame, blame for something that we did, and then we punish ourselves, right? Because we're a bad person. And then we do the same thing to other people. But other people are just a projection of what's inside ourselves. So we have a world, a whole system, a whole legal system, a whole political system, a whole economic system, a whole social system based around punishment. Someone does something wrong, they should be punished. You should be punished for your sins. For being a bad person, you should be punished for what you did. You did something bad, you should be punished. You did something wrong, you should be punished. The reality is, these are the people that need the most love. They need the most support. They need the most care, the most compassion. Instead of putting these people in prisons, we should be removing them from society if they're dangerous, and then surrounding them with flowers and meditation and yoga and beautiful music and amazing organic food and massages and spa treatments, and like give them like a few years of that, you know, and spiritual teachings and poetry and cuddle puddles and dancing. These are the people that need the most love. They don't need punishment. They need the most support. And we do the same thing primarily to ourselves, first and foremost to ourselves. We punish ourselves. Why not love ourselves? It makes sense, right? It's just like, it makes sense as you awaken in your consciousness. I tend to go here because this is all you can see, but it really be more like a here. As you awaken in your consciousness, this whole incredible amount of energy around punishment, we're going to see it more and more, and it's very exciting. You know, when we start to see it, it's a waste of energy. It has no productive value whatsoever. There's no creative energy in it whatsoever. If we do something that hurts other people, or hurts ourselves, or someone else hurts other people, we want to be made aware of it. We want to be able to learn the lesson, find the opportunity in it. We're here to learn. We're here to learn how to love. Right? So learn the lesson and move forward. But to punish people for things, it doesn't make any sense. It's just, it perpetuates the same cycle, perpetuates the same cycle of suffering. You know, people are already suffering, so now you're going to give them further suffering, and then it perpetuates the cycle of suffering in the human consciousness, the human condition. And again, we do it to ourselves. First and foremost, we're perpetuating the suffering in ourselves by punishing ourselves. We don't feel we deserve it. We don't feel we're worthy of it. We don't feel we're good enough for it. We need to punish ourselves more first. Why are we punishing ourselves? Why are we doing that? If there's no good answer, if there's no clear answer, then stop doing that. And then we rest in this ground of being, here, now. Without knowing anything should be any different than it is. And then there's a sense of peace that underlies the temporary changing conditions. There's a sense of self-love. There's a sense of freedom, and there's a sense of empowerment. Looking at some of the comments. Cuddle Puddle is like a group of people cuddling together. Very healing. These things are also like it's like the more you tap into your authenticity, the more there's a natural sense of what feels healthy, of what feels healthy. And what feels healthy is love. Love feels healthy. Loving words, loving reflection, loving touch, healing touch. Loving support doesn't necessarily mean being nice, because what's also helpful is to reflect the truth to each other, to reflect each other honestly. You know, that's some of the most important healing medicine we can receive sometimes. That's very much what my personal sessions are about, and the retreats are about, is being in the truth. You know, and the truth sets us free. The truth reminds us who we really are. That we can breathe. You know, we can breathe. You know, oh, I thought all these things that I was thinking about were so important. But now I remember who I really am. You know, and these things that I thought were so important, I was giving so much energy to, and trying to punish myself and trying to punish other people, and putting so much energy into that justice, I realized it really isn't that important. Just feel the presence, Bushra. Bushra Safdar Shah is one of our friends that lives in Pakistan. He joins us from Pakistan. So welcome, Bushra. Welcome, Peter. Does anyone have any other comments, reflections, inquiries they'd like to share? People have their stories, you know. They have their ideas, they have their beliefs, and then you share something, you speak to them something, and they frame it in terms of their beliefs, their stories, their ideologies. And if it's outside of their attachment to their beliefs, I guess, or ideologies, then they don't really have any reference point for what you're talking about, what you're referring to. But what's exciting is to create these spaces of communion where we're in a field of pure presence, and what we're sharing together comes from a place of openness, of vast open-mindedness, without limits or borders, vast open heart, without limits or borders. And there's a shared space of inquiry, there's a shared space of curiosity, there's a shared space of attentiveness, there's a shared space of open awareness. And when this is here, when this is present, it changes the whole dynamic vibrational frequency of the dialogue, of the shared space. Or in the case of last night, no dialogue, no words, but there's a communication that's happening. And presence is really fascinating because there's no way to do it. There's no way to get to it. But if you truly fully realize there's no way to get to it, no way to do it, then you realize that you're resting in it now. It's like when you can fully recognize and realize the clouds as clouds, then you realize that the light is always present. So what excites me, inspires me, and I feel the greatest passion about is relating in the space of pure presence beyond the attachment identification to the stories, which create separation, which is illusionary. Doesn't mean you can't have stories, but to recognize a story as a story. Stories are fun. Stories are enjoyable when they're recognized as stories. When they're not recognized as stories, they're not fun. They're very, very serious and cause suffering. And we're not resting in the truth, who and what we are. Trust in the moment. That sounds right to me. I'll vote for that. I really appreciate this space. You know, we're talking about something, but we're experientially creating what was being talked about. So that's what I appreciate. I appreciate that we're experientially creating this field of presence together, and it feels like it deepens, you know, more and more the further we go together. There's like this unified, synchronized, resonant field, and we can sort of start with where we left off the previous time. So grateful and appreciative for you and for what we co-create in this field together. And I guess next episode is going to be 100. Gotta do something special for that. Will be extra special. It will be extra special. See you in the next now.